That now brings us to our final deputation on this matter, which is from the How team and a number of community members representing the How team. So once again, 10 minutes for this item to use as you wish. Thank you. You might want to start with just a couple of introductions as to who you are.
Absolutely, thank you. Hi everyone, my name's Corrine Bolstad. I'm a trustee of Renew Brighton. I'm just going to quickly explain the relationship between Renew Brighton and the South Shore and South New Brighton How team, and then I'll hand over to Marie, who's one of the community members of that How team. So Renew Brighton was formed in 2012 and we undertook various projects in the Greater Brighton community. By 2015, we were aware of extreme frustration in our community around the ways that we could be involved in making decisions on the matters that impacted us with various agencies, including council. In November 2015, we arranged a meeting where we invited New Brighton community representatives to talk about this. Our community representatives asked Renew Brighton to come up with a more efficient way of making decisions with agencies for the matters that impact us. And we asked council for a meeting later that year. So at the end of 2015 and again early in 2016, we met with senior management of council. And Renew Brighton invited council to partner with us in developing a more efficient decision-making process. Council supported us in that endeavour, and through 2016 and 2017, a great deal was undertaken to develop a process and concept which came to be known as the How team. In 2017, Regenerate Christchurch had a project which was about the future use of the red zone land in South Shore and South New Brighton, and Regenerate contracted Renew Brighton to form a How team for that process.
So, tēnā koutou and good morning everyone. My name is Marie Graham and I am one of the members of the How team and a resident of the South Brighton and South Shore communities. South Shore is my tūranga waiwai. I was one of the members that presented to you early last year, and I'm here today as the spokesperson for the How team. We firmly believe in the principle of nothing about us without us. The How team reflects this principle. Our How team consisted of 9 community members, including the convener, plus a member of each of the agencies, the 3 agencies involved, CCC, ECAN and Regenerate Christchurch. The approach is different because it focuses on how to engage, not on the issues. We produced the engagement plan for the project on time and under budget. While we are very disappointed with the delays and issues that have occurred, we are clear that this has not been the fault of the engagement plan or of the How team. The How team approach very successfully built trust in the community, and it was the subsequent actions of the agencies that has undermined that trust once again in the community. There is now a high deficit of trust in the community, which is going to require a significant investment from agencies to address. We firmly believe that in taking on the leadership of this project, the council will need community-based advice on how best to involve the community in the decision-making process. This is the role of the How team, and Renew Brighton is keen to support us in its continuation for the project. The community members of the How team support the separation of the earthquake legacy issues from the long-term climate change adaptation issues. We recognise that while this was not the original intention of the project, the delays in the project mean that it would be detrimental to the welfare of the community not to deal with the immediate earthquake legacy issues, as has already been described by the community groups here. Both the earthquake and the adaptation parts of the project need to involve the community in a genuine way. The processes will be different due to the need to resolve the earthquake legacy issues urgently, whereas the climate adaptation planning needs a longer and ongoing process. As noted in our engagement plan and in the handout, the approach needs to foster community wellbeing, be transparent and responsive, prioritise face-to-face communication and show respect, and be inclusive. In respect to the climate adaptation part of the project, we are pleased to see the recommendation in the council paper that the council will use the engagement plan prepared by the HOW team. We strongly support this. It is essential that the community is central to planning for climate change due to the impact it has on them. This is consistent with the Ministry for the Environment guidelines to council. Our plan provides a robust process. Good engagement and implementing the plan well will take resources, and so we need your commitment to this. It is only by ensuring an excellent engagement process that you will get the durable decisions that both the community and the council can feel ownership of. Earthquake legacy issues, there is a balance between getting on and making decisions and ensuring that those decisions are the best ones. The community needs to be involved in an efficient and effective way, so the process does not drag. If people can see that the earthquake issues are being addressed, this will provide some level of certainty for the short to medium term. This will give the community the capacity to take on the harder challenge of how we adapt to climate change. Building on the work of the community, the HOW team and the agencies have already done, we can design a process that is timely and enables the genuine engagement. How you work with the community is crucial. Our experience in the HOW team gave us hope and encouragement that it is possible for the community and the agencies to work proactively together. We believe that an excellent engagement process will lead to the decisions that we can all understand and feel ownership of. We are not naive enough to think that we will all agree, but we want to ensure that the process we use to get to the end decisions is fair and transparent. To reiterate, a good process means nothing about us without us.
Thank you very much. Is that the end of the presentation?
That is, thank you.
So that does leave a couple of minutes for questions. Glenn. Yep, Glenn.
Thank you, Corinne and Marie. So this is a hypothetical. Have you got a sense over what might change in how to have a conversation about adaptation in other coastal communities in New Zealand that haven't had earthquakes compared to South New and South Shore? It's fair enough if you just want to say we're not going to guess, but have you got a sense of that?
I think it is hypothetical, and I think the beauty of these kind of processes is that they are defined by our community. You can see that our community has this very strong spirit, and I'm sure other communities do too, and that will create a different process.
Thank you. Sarah.
Thank you, and I think that the work that the HOW team has done with support has been a really good example of how we should go about that in other communities throughout the city and district and Banks Peninsula.
Thank you.
It's quite time consuming though, and so with the work that we need to do to get our legal obligations filled with the district plan, how long do you think we need to be talking to our communities about the adaptation process before we sort of try and formalise things and put things in a bit of paper?
So it sounds like you want to get a grasp on how long that process would take all up.
Yeah, that working with the communities to come to sort of agreed information, sort of a agreed starting point where we agree with the facts, and then a way forward.
I think the engagement plan covers.
I think
that.
as long as the principles of the engagement plan are delivered in a timely way and well supported by
So that resourcing. Yeah.
then that can be a timely process and achieved really well.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. I'll allow one final question from Yanni and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, hopefully just really quickly. I was really struck by the deputations today that talked about there'd been no analysis of life risk. Has the How team considered the issue of life risk and how it could be discussed or why it hasn't been discussed?
We, as the How team, talk mainly about process, so we've designed the engagement plan of how to have that conversation with the community. So it's not something as individual residents, and we have opinions on that, but I'm here today to talk as a spokesperson for the How team, so I wouldn't feel comfortable making a personal statement
In
in
terms
that
of the How
context.
team processes around discussing life risk, you have considered processes around that.
It has come up in discussion, but I don't see that as the responsibility at this stage, and this is my personal opinion. I think that responsibility lies with council.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the presentation. Thanks for the answers to questions. Certainly all of the deputations that we've heard this morning have been valuable in terms of our consideration of the matter. I note the point that was made that there's been a relatively short time for community members and organisations to put those presentations together, and we thank you for the effort that you've taken and the time you've taken in doing so. So we'll now break for morning tea. After that, we'll come back and hear from the community boards, deal with the community board Part A matters, and then we'll move to item 22, which at this stage I would expect to be somewhere around probably 12:15 to 12:30, if those who have got an interest in that matter wanted to be in the chamber at that time. I intend to manage the next part of the meeting quite tightly. So we'll break for morning tea. And if councillors could be back at 11:20, that's in 13 minutes' time, ready to start.